Hi, everybody. Look,
Happy Monday.
We're off. Maybe. Ow. We're back.
Yesterday I got caught in a traffic jam. It must have been like, it was a motorcycle ride.
Okay.
But I had to pull over. You know, the cop car was coming, and I had to pull over. I was like, and I always, anytime there's a siren, my mom, always taught us to pray for first responders. So I'm praying, well, Lord, bless those policemen wherever they're going. Well, sure enough, up behind, I hear all the and seriously, for 25 minutes, it was a motorcycle ride. Like, veterans maybe?
Okay.
I don't know. 25 minutes, right? There's Boy Scouts lined up. They're all saluting them and all this stuff. I don't know what it was for, but anyway, how are you all doing today?
Happy Monday.
How are Yins doing today?
Happy Monday.
So I was thinking about the triumphal entry, which we talked about
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. But what did they think about Jesus coming through on his donkey?
But it didn't sound like that.
No, it didn't sound like, he didn't strap a motor to him. But here we are. Miss Sarah, is she on today yet?
I don't know. She'll probably pop on.
But Miss Sarah, she did a beautiful job yesterday. Yeah. Beautiful job. It was amazing. She's so well spoken.
She is.
I would like to present to her an Emmy. I forgot to bring one, but
we ain't got one.
No. Okay.
We don't even have anything close.
I present to you the Stanley.
I got the dove is back there in the closet, so we can give her the dove.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, she did a great job talking about Jesus. Yeah, he is spurring message on the disciples, and things are starting to snowball for them pretty quickly right now. Mm-hmm. We're getting into we just finished actually chapter 12, and getting ready to head into chapter 13 this week, but we'll talk about that later.
I loved her story about the ice cream. How many of you loved the good humor guy coming through? We didn't often get ice cream from him, but what was your favorite off the truck?
He used to come to the pool. Mm-hmm. So we used to get it at the pool is where we'd get it, because my parents lived out in the state. We never had an ice cream truck come by my parents' house.
Deprived child.
Ever. We never had one, but we'd have it come to the pool. I tell you what, I really liked, and there were a couple different variations of it, but it was like a Tweety Bird face that had gumball eyes. They did a couple other cartoon things. The chocolate crunch bar was a good one too. And I was never like a Rocket Pop or any of those kind of things.
I like the Dreamsicles. Those were good.
Just a straight
the orange dreamsicles. Yeah, those were fun.
The push pops were good. The orange sherbet push pops.
Those were always good. Those were the cheapest ones.
They were, and you had because you had the cardboard that disintegrated in your mouth. Nothing like soggy cardboard
yum,
hanging out at the pool.
Yum.
But the ice cream truck, man, that I could do that in my retirement. That'd be fun.
That would be a fun job for you. I could totally see you.
Driving around, different songs playing.
You could totally karaoke the whole time. That would bring it in. You can get you a striped hat and a little apron.
Would be fun.
I think we have found the job for Pastor
the ice cream man. That'd be a lot of fun.
That would be fantastic.
I do love ice cream.
You better write that down. You might forget.
I do. I won't forget. I do love ice cream.
Joanna, you could be his sidekick. I think we found the job for you. Joanna can
just drive around. Ice cream RV.
Oh my gosh. You go along
we take it across the country.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, we've got yesterday was a church picnic. Let's talk real quick about that. Pastor Todd and Miss Sherry and their team, Tracy Dillon, Bev Rezanity, Amanda, Deanna. Let's see, I'm trying to think who else. Pam and Mike were back there. I'm trying to think of somebody else on their team. I mean, they did such a fabulous job. What are you laughing about?
My wife's on there. She said our kids would be so mad we don't do the ice cream truck now. They'll feel betrayed. True story.
Oh, well.
We'll get back to the picnic, but at one point, my son turns to my wife because he said he's hungry, and she said, well, there's grapes and apples and all this other stuff. And literally, he looks at her and goes, you are killing me with healthy food.
That's my favorite comment of all time.
You're killing me with healthy food.
I love it.
Anyway, so back to the picnic. The team did a great job.
So great. Yeah.
It was smooth sailing. People got through the line. We did Bible Jeopardy inside. People were out on the field doing all sorts of games. The Hispanic church joined us. It was like
It was beautiful.
It was a really cool. We love doing those kind of events to get everybody out
together.
People that are in different services or different schedules. It's good to all be together and have some fun. That's a major part of the church makeup. Why we are the church is to have each other.
A unified family of believers. It was a beautiful night. So let's get to the text here. So we are in John chapter 12, and this is again tying up, getting ready for Holy Week here as Jesus again is questioned and people are asking him so many things, and the Lord is being questioned here about some Greeks. And so Sarah hit on this just a little bit yesterday, and so what did you think about?
Well, it's number one, I love the analogies that Jesus uses to paint a picture and to go, like, it's just cool that he tells it in this phrase and they could understand it all the way to today. Like the concept of food and growing wheat and all that is still prevalent. So like just that act, and that was really cool, the fun little scientific detail of 3 days. Yes. 3 days it starts to germinate. Yes. So like he could have said any kind of grain, right. But it's kind of fun to wonder, we know God's super detailed and he is has a forethought, and just to say that he says a grain of wheat, 3-day germination.
Right. Yeah, that's in verse 24 of chapter 12. He says, "Truly, truly, I say unto you, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it must remain alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit." And so what Sarah was saying is that the germination process is 3 days, and doesn't that 3 days ring a bell there? Yeah. And so like Jesus, because right in the verse before, the hour has come of the Son of Man to be glorified. Jesus spoke in so many metaphors. They must have been like, what are you talking about? Right. Jesus, the Son of Man is to be glorified. Yeah,
things that in hindsight, they probably went back and went, oh, that's what he meant.
That's what he meant.
But yeah, this... and obviously Jesus is talking about his actual physical life is about to die so that the disciples can be empowered to then take it and spread it to the whole world through the Holy Spirit eventually. But that concept is so true of us. Like, we can live our lives for ourselves, but it's all inward focused. And when you die, it was a life lived for yourself, and there's no seeds in the ground. It was, you put all the seeds, you kept all the eggs in your basket, and nothing ever went anywhere. Right. It's the same way with, you hear stories of people that saved up these mass amounts of money. You can't take any of it with you, and you get to the...
I will give you my routing number on my checking account.
Right, we'll sow it. I'll sow it, baby. I'll sow everywhere with it.
I will give you the address of the church.
But just that aspect of, if you die to yourself and you live a life for others, live a life for the gospel, live a life for the mission and the plan that God had crafted and called you to have from the get-go, now all of a sudden you're out there Johnny Appleseeding across your path. And just that concept of, we have no idea. You have no idea a seed that you have planted in passing, or a seed you planted even intentionally, what that could grow into. Yeah. What that could become someday. And you think about, one apple seed turns into an apple tree that has all those apples, and it's just another picture of multiplication. We know Jesus loves multiplication.
Remind me, because I'll forget. Let's go back to Johnny Appleseed in just a second. Okay. But if you go to verse, because this is more important. Yeah. Verse 28. If anyone serves me, he must follow me, and where I am, there will my servant be also. I'm going to pause right there. So if we serve him, then we follow him, right? We've talked so much of following the way of the master teacher, knowing his voice, and the sheep know the master's voice, and following in the dust of the master. And where he is, there will the servant be also. So we talk about abiding, we talk about remaining. Yeah. There's so much that we've rested on. And if anyone serves me, the Father will honor him. And I think so much in ministry when we serve, not just being a pastor, but just being a servant of Jesus. Sometimes we can come and we think, well, what can I offer? What can I give? And as soon as we give, he just fills us right back up. He honors our work for him. And he honors the work that we're doing for the kingdom, and he blesses it and he multiplies it just like that seed.
I think it's a mark. It's definitely something special of our church, and I know there's a lot of churches that have this as well. But here in our house, that all of the pastors have come out of. All of us were congregants at some point, and I think that concept of like, I was giving what I had. I was giving. The fact of just being on the worship team, serving in the nursery, doing all these other things that we did at a young time in our life, and like God's filling back up of that as we pour out. It's a great one of my favorite analogies out of the Bible is that Dead Sea thing, the Dead Sea picture of if you don't have an outflow, it dies. But as soon as God sees you have an outflow, he goes, I can trust it. And he pours in and he sees that there's something good coming out of this life.
You know what's the moral on that? Don't be salty.
It's true.
Don't be salty. Don't be a salty Christian.
It's true.
Oh, well, we're supposed to be salty. Never mind. I just totally shot myself in the foot. All right. Here's what I wanted to say.
What about Johnny Appleseed?
Okay. Did you all know that Kurt is related to Johnny Appleseed?
Did
you think that he was a myth like Paul Bunyan? He ain't. So, Johnny Appleseed, his real name was John Chapman.
Oh.
Kurt's grandfather's name is... Wait, hold on a second. Kurt's family name is Chapman on his mother's side. Okay. And so they did genealogical, that's a big word.
Easy for you to say.
It's all Greek to me. We're talking about these Greeks here. Studies, and that Kurt was related to Johnny Appleseed. So when Kurt was in elementary school, they were talking about Johnny Appleseed, and he went to his teacher and he was like, I'm related to Johnny Appleseed. And she didn't believe him. Huh. She was like, no, he was like Paul Bunyan, he's a myth. And he was like, no, I'm related to Johnny Appleseed. And what I love about it is that we can talk about generational things. If Johnny Appleseed really truly went and planted all over America, Kurt is planting for the kingdom, and I love that concept.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I know, I love it. So,
that's way more cool than what I was told.
What?
Story time today. So in elementary school,
it is so hot in your office.
And we're at the end of this run. At the end of in grade school, we were talking about our heritage, and my grandfather, who you knew,
character,
told me we were related to Christopher Columbus. Which my grandfather told me this truth. It must be true.
I don't believe it's.
So I showed it in class. Well, the teacher thought it was so. It might have been. I can't remember if it was if it was Pat Young, or if it was. I don't know who it was. My mom worked in the library at the time. Well, in the course of a conversation, she said, "It's amazing you guys are related to Christopher Columbus." And my mother looks at her and says, "What? We're not related to Christopher Columbus." And so then the teacher tells my mother, "Well, your son made a whole big talk about how you're related to Christopher Columbus." So mom comes home mad at me, which I say, "Hey, whoa, Pap told me that we were related to Christopher Columbus." She calls my grandfather and says, "Why did you tell Adam that we're related to Christopher Columbus?" He says, "Italy's a small place. We're Italian, he's Italian. There's a great chance we're related." Oh, still. So anyway.
Then I guess we're all related. We're cousins of something.
At some point.
Oh, Lord, help us. We better start praying now. Let's close in prayer.
Oh, we can't close in prayer yet. We're going to talk about next week.
Let's talk about next week.
So you'll get your reading. We are heading into, I know it feels like Easter, but it's not Easter.
Every day's Easter for the believer. I told you this.
I know. Okay. We talked about it.
Right.
But we are heading into chapter 13, which is the start of the Lord's Supper. So we're going to this Sunday is about Jesus washing the disciples' feet.
Who had toe jams. Jesus didn't have toe jams. But them disciples, they did.
They like that quote. That you could somebody might have that on a T-shirt or something. Jesus didn't have toe jams.
He didn't.
Too perfect for toe jams.
Oh my, we are all related. Goodness. Yes. Amen to that.
So we head into chapter 13. You'll get your reading this week for that. And Pastor Kurt is up preaching this Sunday.
He is.
the good right bishop.
Maybe he will come barefoot.
Listen, he asked me to do stuff for like props and other stuff. I hope he don't ask me. I mean, I'll wash his feet, but if
he has pretty nice feet. Hey, have a great day, everybody.
We'll see y'all. Have a great Monday. See you next week. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.